Story 1. In the latter part of my 20s, I assumed the role of a security guard at a prominent hotel nestled in the heart of Las Vegas. The compensation offered in this position exceeded that of most other jobs in the vicinity that aligned with my qualifications. However, the challenges lay not in the monetary rewards but in the intricacies of scheduling and the dynamics among the staff. The hotel, during that period, grappled with a severe shortage of personnel to cover various shifts, resulting in a tumultuous and unpredictable work schedule. Mornings, evenings, or overnights, the shifts were scattered randomly throughout the week, presenting a formidable obstacle to achieving a restful night's sleep. Despite the formidable challenges, the allure of the generous salary served as a motivating factor that kept me committed to the role. During a particular late evening shift, as the clock approached 11, I found myself engrossed in conversation with two colleagues stationed at the front desk. With my shift slated to conclude at 12, we were simply passing the time when the phone on the desk, against which I was leaning, abruptly rang. Glancing at the caller ID, I noted that the call originated from a room within the hotel. Answering the call, I was met with a concerned voice on the other end. The caller proceeded to inform me of something suspicious occurring in a room down the hall, urgently requesting my presence and expressing a growing sense of anxiety. Upon checking the room number, I assured the caller that security would be dispatched promptly. Little did the concerned individual know, I was referring to myself as I put the phone down. Quickly briefing my coworkers about the peculiar call, I made my way to the elevators and ascended to the mid-level floor where the flagged room was situated. Walking down the dimly lit hallway, an inexplicable sense of silence permeated the air, intensifying the anticipation of discovering the source of the disturbance. To my surprise, there were no loud noises echoing through the corridor. Additionally, I half expected the caller to be standing by the door, ready to provide more information, but the door remained firmly closed. Knocking loudly, I announced my presence as hotel security, yet no sounds emanated from within. After a minute of no response, I ventured to the end of the hallway, straining my ears for any unusual sounds. Returning to the door, I knocked once more. It was at this moment that a door behind me creaked open, and an elderly woman inquired if I was indeed security. Affirming my role, I inquired whether they had any information about strange noises or the caller. The older woman recounted hearing loud noises in the hallway a few minutes earlier but remained uncertain about the source. The palpable fear in their expressions and tone heightened my own unease. Equipped with a walkie-talkie, I radioed the front desk, requesting them to call the room again and notify me of any response. After a considerable wait, the front desk informed me that there was no answer. Baffled by the unfolding situation, I radioed back, instructing them to check the room's occupancy. Eventually, they reported that the room was not booked for the night. Perplexed, I utilized my security key card to gain access to the supposedly vacant room. Upon entering, I found the room to be impeccably clean and seemingly unused. However, my attention was drawn to the phone, and upon turning it over, I noted the serial number. Returning to the lobby where my desk was located, I meticulously combed through the security records, confirming an active call from that room to the front desk, approximately 15 minutes earlier. This peculiar incident served as the catalyst for a more extensive investigation. The subsequent morning brought with it a report of a guest on the same floor being reported missing by a family member staying in a separate room. Scrutinizing security footage, it was revealed that the missing person had left the hotel unaccompanied a couple of hours prior to the mysterious call. The connection between these two incidents remained shrouded in uncertainty. To this day, the identity of the mysterious caller remains elusive, and the missing person has yet to be located. The enigma surrounding these events continues to linger, casting a shadow of intrigue over that unsettling night. Story 2. This unsettling and harrowing incident unfolded amidst a business trip that I embarked on last year for work, adding a surreal and nerve-wracking chapter to my professional endeavors. Upon my arrival at the hotel, I proceeded to collect the room key, a gracious provision by my company. The hotel, with its aesthetically pleasing interior, presented a contrast in size compared to its counterparts. Housing a mere 30 to 40 rooms distributed across 3 stories, it exuded an intimate ambiance. Fatefully, my designated room happened to be on the top floor, prompting me to engage the elevator and navigate the hallways that would soon become the backdrop for an unexpected and disconcerting experience. As I entered my assigned room, engaged in the routine of placing my bags by the door and reaching into my pocket for the room key, the adjacent room's door swung open. A man stepped into the hallway, breaking the solitude with a friendly greeting and an outstretched hand for a handshake. Somewhat perplexed by this unusual gesture, I reciprocated with my name and proceeded into my room. The notion that someone would emerge from their temporary abode solely to greet a fellow transient neighbor struck me as odd. Yet I acknowledge the diversity and social inclinations that exists among people. Following the unpacking of my suitcase and duffel bag, I settled onto the bed, turning on the TV in an attempt to unwind from the exhaustion of the flight. The plan was to retire early, and after a quick shower with the lights off, I lay in bed for almost 20 minutes before the unsettling creak of the neighbor's door disrupted the quiet. A shadow passed by my door, hesitating just before crossing the threshold. Through the sliver of light under the door, I caught a glimpse of the shadow approaching, before abruptly retreating and continuing down the hall. This disconcerting encounter prompted me to verify the door locks before attempting to resume my rest. The subsequent day unfolded with interactions with co-workers in a company-owned building, involving a presentation and dinner. Returning to the hotel at 10 p.m., fatigue overwhelmed me. My work bag was casually tossed on the bed, and a quick shower ensued. About 10 minutes into the shower, amid the soothing sound of water splashing, the distinct beep of the electronic door lock unlocking disrupted the solitude. Given the late hour, the prospect of cleaning services seemed implausible. My thoughts gravitated to the peculiar man next door, deepening the mystery. How did he come into possession of a key card capable of unlocking my door? In a state of suspended animation in the shower, I listened as the door slowly opened and then closed, followed by footsteps passing the bathroom with the shower still running. The realization that the intruder was cognizant of my presence heightened my fear. Stealthily stepping out of the shower, I dressed, ensuring the door was securely locked. Placing my ear against the bathroom door, I discerned faint sounds, resembling someone rifling through my belongings. The desire to confront the intruder collided with the fear of potential harm, leaving me feeling helplessly frozen. With no phone within reach, I made the critical decision to call for help. Banging on the bathroom door and vociferously calling for assistance, I heard the man's hurried footsteps retreat into the hallway. Hastily exiting, I secured the front door and retrieved my phone from the nightstand. Dialing 911 with trembling hands, I sought assistance from the authorities. While the police arrived after the intruder had fled, they managed to locate him in his car a few hours later. The lack of tangible evidence regarding harmful intent cast uncertainty over whether he would face legal consequences. Despite the ambiguity, my instincts suggested sinister motives, possibly indicating an intent to kidnap. The chilling episode left lingering questions, prompting contemplation on the what-ifs, and forever shrouding the true intentions behind that unnerving intrusion in a veil of uncertainty. Story 3. Every summer, my family had a tradition of yearly vacations to hotels and resorts. Our routine included me, my wife, and our 2 boys. Instead of exploring different places, we opted to spend the entire vacation at the resort, enjoying the simplicity of not renting a car and relishing the relaxation away from daily life. Last summer, at our chosen hotel, we unpacked in the morning, and the kids eagerly headed to the water park while my wife and I relaxed by the pool. After a couple of hours, we returned to our room to get ready for dinner. As I started searching for the boys in the water park, I found Sam, the elder of the 2. To my surprise, Alan, the younger one, was playing with another kid on the far side of the park. I informed Sam of our departure, instructing him to return to his mom while I set out to locate Alan. After a somewhat anxious 10-minute search, I found him in the back corner, engaged in conversation with a small boy around his age. Seated nearby were a couple who seemed to be the boy's parents. I introduced myself to the family, but their response was limited to a slight smile. An awkward silence ensued, and I retrieved Alan heading back to the hotel. Curiosity led me to inquire about Alan's new friend. Alan explained that they had met at the water park, and the boy's parents had spontaneously invited him for dinner that night. Strangely enough, the invitation without any prior interaction with us, Alan's parents, struck me as odd and raised concerns for my wife and me. Upon our return to the hotel after a quick dinner, we encountered the boy and his mother waiting for the elevator. The mother, with a fleeting smile, asked if Alan could join them for dinner that evening. Perplexed, I glanced at my wife, equally baffled, and suggested perhaps another time. The mother's smile waned, and she walked down the opposite hallway, presumably towards their room. It dawned on us that they might have been lingering by the elevator, anticipating our return just to extend the dinner invitation. Back in our room, we had a serious discussion with Alan, emphasizing that he should not approach that family without one of us present. Although he seemed disappointed, he agreed. A separate conversation with Sam ensured he was aware of the situation and the responsibility of looking out for his younger brother in our absence. The rest of the evening involved rotating through showers and relaxing on the beds and couch. Despite the unsettling events, we tried to salvage the vacation. Ready for bed, we turned off the lights in our room, which featured 2 beds, one for my wife and me and another for the boys to share. In the middle of the night, I was abruptly awakened by Sam, who was visibly shaken and shaking my arm. Alert and on edge, I saw him next to me, quietly informing me that Alan was talking to someone at the door. Reacting swiftly, I jumped out of bed, turning the corner leading to the front door. Even before yelling at Alan, I noticed him in the process of figuring out how to unlock the door, and a faint voice emanated from the other side. Sprinting towards him, I screamed for him to back away from the door. Alan, startled by the volume of my voice, jumped back. I slammed against the door, hearing footsteps sprinting down the hall as I finished unlocking it and swung it open. Instead of pursuing the man, I witnessed a quick figure disappearing around the corner, heading towards the elevators. Despite my attempt to catch up, there was no sign of him when I turned the corner, eliminating the possibility of him taking the elevator. It became evident that he was staying in a room on that floor. After searching for a few minutes, I returned to our room and found my wife already awake, disturbed by the chaos. We urged Alan to stay away from the family, locked the door, and decided that I would inform the front desk of the incident. As I reached the lobby, my adrenaline started to fade, and I tried to calm myself for a coherent explanation. The young woman at the counter, sensing the gravity of the situation, called a security guard and her manager for assistance. However, the lack of security cameras in the hallways limited their ability to act. Without proof or a detailed description of the man at the door, they were unable to take substantial action. Frustratingly, the best they could offer was a refund for the remaining days, prompting us to relocate to a different resort 30 minutes away. The realization that someone was likely attempting to kidnap our child was a harrowing experience, and the inability to take decisive action against the creepy parents was disheartening. The incident profoundly impacted our family. Sharing our story aims to raise awareness among parents, helping them protect their children from potential dangers. The lingering fear of unsettling individuals preying on innocents serves as a stark reminder of the darker side of the world.